damn, I wish I planted that is all about plants that you're seeing in other people's garden, if not in yours, that you're like, really sad I don't have that one because you like it so much. And you could just assemble a list of things that you might want to go for and plant in the fall to have next summer. And mine for this year is a fabulous summer plant. And I know yours is too. Do you want to start?
Sure. I was given my plant by Carol Reese, who's a guest we're going to have on here in a couple weeks' time. And she said this is the best sedum you're ever going to find. And it's Sedum takesimense. I think that is the way to say it. But it has the worst name. It's very, very hard to remember. And it doesn't really have a common name. So you just have to find it. And worse yet, it is not the Atlantis cultivar, the variegated cultivar that I'm talking about. It is the straight species green that I am talking about. It is a beautifully low mounded sedum, probably no more than about 6 to 9 inches. It has these wonderful leaves, foliage, and then it has this yellow blossom that covers the plant, just, a huge big thing of yellow. Sort of like Angelina, or Angelina's floppy, and this is just strong and stays low and it's gorgeous. And then here's the cool thing, which I did not expect, is that those flowers turn brown. Yeah, they're going to turn brown, but they turn brown and it's beautiful. It's
Oh,
pretty. It's interesting. It's a whole new part of this plant. So overall, this is a fantastic one to get hold of. This is totally a pass along. This is hard to find. If you're looking for it, you're going to be inundated with pictures of Atlantis, which is the variegated. But going back
wow.
and talking to Carol about it, she said that the variegated does not do well for her, but the straight species does well, and to everybody she ever gives it to, it does really, really well. So look for it. It's hardy zones 4 to 8, so it's a nice little sweet spot there.
I have a question.
You,
When you
yep,
say sedum, I am now thinking, because I am coachable and willing, Hylotelephium? Are we
not Hylotelephium.
okay?
But it has actually been moved into a new genus, which is just makes you crazy because they took sedum and they just cut and diced with sedum. To Oh man, it's like Phaedra or PH something. But I think most people know it as Sedum takesimense. But don't worry about the new name too much. It's hard enough to find it under the old name.
Which yeah, oh, I'm complicating things. All right, mine is
Yeah.
so simple, so simple. It's the
Okay.
Shasta Daisy, and probably the
Oh,
best cultivar is Becky, and I've
yes.
right? I think
Agree.
yeah. So this is Leucanthemum ex superbum. I like Becky. It's the one that was introduced to me when I first started working for a gardener up in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I just took her at her word where she says, "Okay, out of all these, this is the best one. Out of all these, this is the best one." And so I always planted Becky, and I grew it in the stand of Becky in my front border, and my whole garden was probably 3 by 3. It was very big, very satisfying, kind of middle dark green foliage. And when they come up all together in July, it's just like this sea of shining faces, yellow faces with these white petals. So this is, it's a daisy. Couldn't be more simple. And they're smiling up at the sun. Pre-pruning can help, although grown correctly and they don't want a lot of water, they are not going to flop for you. But if you have the flops going on, pre-pruning really helps. I had mine going in a place where um, some baptisia had just gone over and some cleome or maybe some ricinus were going to come up. And so it was a really nice contrast to that. I enjoyed, because I'm a weirdo who likes to do things like this, the deadheading afterwards, like echinacea. You could just chop it and I guess you'd get the same results, but it was really fun to look at the individual stems like you would on an echinacea and just say, okay, I can see that little baby coming off the side. I'm going to cut there. Time consuming and ridiculous behavior. You could just chop it and you will get a rebloom. But I enjoyed the smattering of blooms that resulted in sort of the more artful, nuanced pruning. And do you grow this plant?
I love this plant. And I was just when you saying deadheading it, I'm whisked back to my early 30s when I used to deadhead it. And I had a tiny garden. And it was so worth it because it would keep blooming and blooming and blooming. It never flopped for me. Fabulous plant. And the other thing I loved about it, because I was seriously on a budget, was not only can you divide this plant, and you really should, but it creates little plantlets on on the stems that
Oh, yeah.
that have little roots, little bud roots on them. So so study those stems, and you'll see these tiny little plants that you can take off and stick just gently into the soil and keep moist. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. Maybe you
That
can
is so
sell those at a plant fair and make some money for your kids' shoes, because I was like, all right, I'm going to town on this here. This is a great plant. I love that.
Deer and rabbits will eat it, but that's not their
Mm,
first choice by any means.
yeah.
And again, it doesn't need a lot of water, so it's a really good one.